Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more rapid fire big unit. This time it's the 5th Light Cavalry Division, the Cinquième Division Légère de Cavalerie, which is a very funny unit, of course, especially because of the start, of course, because of the horses and plenty of horsemen, as you can see here. Also some artillery towed by especially anti-tank guns, and also MGs and mortars pulled by horses, which gives, of course, a different atmosphere to this World War II unit. It was not a very large unit. In fact, what you see here, for instance, when you see the Cavalry Brigade, in fact, each man is a copy of itself. I mean, there are the dismounted cavalrymen, and also the cavalrymen on horse. Okay, so in fact, if this one is Pierre, Pierre is again here, and this, if Michel is there, I mean Michel is again over there. Okay, so which makes this division, I mean, even smaller. In fact, as you can see, there is a component of cavalry, real cavalry, if I can call it. Then there is a light brigade, which includes the RAM Regiment d'Automitrailleuse, which is the Reconnaissance Unit, of course. Then there are Dragons Portés here, which are very nice, very different from many other units of the French army, especially due to the transport, which was quite old, in fact. And also there is an artillery component that we'll see also later. And finally, pioneer unit. In fact, they were called sapeurs mineurs, and which was quite a large company, as we will see. Well, let's speak a little bit more about the models themselves and about what they are doing here. So this is, of course, the inspiration for all this. This is the last almost last 2 pages of this very nice book, which has been giving the people like France 1940 many hours of pleasure, of course. Blitzkrieg battle groups by Masters Richard and Colin. And let's see more on the issue. So first of all, there's a fantasy here, of course. The command of this 2 regiments of this cavalry brigade is, of course, a complete nonsense, because it has a flag. Of course, I couldn't resist the flag, but of course, I mean, there was no such thing at war. But even so, there was a flag, of course, that was kept somewhere in the unit, but of course never used in battle. Then starting with the support unit, you can see some horse holders for the 60mm mortar, also some horse holders for the MMG, for the Hotchkiss, some scratch built things. For instance, this cart is to pull the 25mm Hotchkiss gun, okay, with Caesar miniatures and AJT miniatures, also figures. Sorry. This is Lancer 25mm gun with plastic figures and irregular miniature figures. This is another complete scratch built effort, which is the one to pull the MMGs. Okay, so these are the figures of this support unit, and here, I mean, the figures themselves that are in action are Lancer, they're metal figures, Lancer, of course. And most of the cavalry, as you can see, in fact, not most, all of the cavalry is AJT. They are coming from the box of World War I French cavalry. There are some extra cartridge holders on the front of the horses that were made of putty, and the main change of that these guys got. I mean, I kept this the sword. I also read that probably they were not used. I mean, at least, I mean, they are here for decoration. I mean, for to look nice, a little bit like the flag, probably. But the main change that this guy suffered was the arm, which had to be bent in order to be holding the reins, and the lance that they all carry had to be taken out. So this was repeated along these two regiments. So this is the 11th Cuirassier here, and this is the 12th chasseurs. Okay, so all of them are AJT. The 4th squadron is not AJT; it's metal EWM, because they were fact they didn't have horses, and they had to use bicycles. Okay, so now the dismounted version of the bicycle guys are here. I think all of this, I think most is, yeah, everything is Caesar. There are some guys, at least 6 of them in each squadron, that are using the bicycle somehow. This one's for protection. This one is using it, I mean, probably to just to have a hold. And what happened to many of these figures that you see here was, I mean, a small conversion, because, for instance, some got this longer coat. They are using just the normal uniform, but I used the capot on some of them, because this was in fact the characteristic of the cavalryman. The capot was used with its buttons unfastened, so it was on the loose, if I can call it, different from the French infantry. Okay, so as this guy had infantry capot, because this box is made of infantry, so this one had to be changed for not to look like infantry. All others, fortunately, are using the uniform without the capot, which is great, because like this, with just a simple paint job of the boots, which are in fact, of course, which were the putties, they become reasonable cavalrymen. Also, some of them, if you look, oops, let's try to focus. For instance, the guy throwing the grenade as an extra bandolier of cartridges, as you can see here, cavalry style, and many others suffered the same fate. So, the other regiment, cavalry regiment, is the same, virtually the same. Yeah, there's a small difference. For instance, the MMGs are EWM here. Also, the same trick was used: black boots instead of putties. Okay, and the rest is, I think, the same. No big changes. There's something different here also. There is a Britannia wagon here, just to look nice. That's all. Now let's go to the Regiment d'automitrailleuses, the Reconnaissance Unit, which is very cute in French style, as they all are. The group de Reconnaissance Divisionnaire are always very funny. Let's start with Simca Cinq from my friend Mário Laranja resin printer. SS command. There are some SHQ French bikers here, as you can see. EWM foot version of these guys here. These are my own French motorcycles. I built them myself. I built 12 of them, I think. Yeah, 12. And they are made like this. Let me show you how I did it. I mean, I already showed that on my blog, but you can see here a scratch-built sidecar, okay, with an AJT conversion for a motorcyclist, okay. And here is the motorcycle, the guy without an arm, on purpose to be copied easier. And this is the Airfix forward observation post, something like that, diorama that Airfix has, which has plenty of things on the sprues. And one of the things that are on the sprue is this very nice British motorcyclist, which became a French one. Okay, and then it was copied with the blue stuff and green stuff into this form. Okay, now these guys here, this other squadron is made of AJT World War I French infantry converted into motorcyclist. Okay, with a padded helmet and goggles and enlarged trousers. Okay, so they look very reasonable, motorcyclist. Okay, and now for one of the things that made me, think a little bit if I should use these guys or not. This is the tank squadron of the reconnaissance group, of the 5th reconnaissance group. In fact, I'm using H39 because the ATF 40 forum mentions that the 4th and 5th DLC use these ones instead of H35. So if you look at Master's opinion on the issue, they mention H35, as you can see here. But in fact, ATF forum, as I wrote somewhere here, you see, mentions H39. And in fact, I saw it repeated also on the GBM magazine. So I used H39 instead of H35. The Panhard squadron is here, and it's made of very nice Altaya models with some scratch built also figures here. Okay. Finally, for this 5th reconnaissance group, you have a Lancer scratch built recovery MCG5. Okay, with some extras in French style. Okay, like for instance this plate. Oops, let's try to focus. Okay, this blue and yellow plate, which means that something is being towed in France, of course. Now let's go to the regiment of Dragons Portés, the motorized Dragoon regiment. Okay, the 1st battalion as the 2nd, as AMR 33. The 1st DLC had AMR 35, so don't make a mistake on that issue. So this one should be AMR 33, which is the oldest and very fragile, in fact, reconnaissance light tank. Okay, there are a few more sidecars also with the same system of repeating the dismounted motorcyclist. Okay, there are some mortar support, and here starts one of the questions of this motorized regiment, which is the lovely P19s that they used, very old also. Some of them were crumbling already. This is a command version, okay, with radios and with some metal figures from EWM, I think, and what I think also irregular miniatures, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. And these are the version of them, of the same people dismounted. Again, the capot in cavalry style, okay, and some radio guys and some protection for the group. And then these are the P19s that were used by the 1st battalion. They are all P19s here in this battalion are EWM. Okay, there is an extra part of the cooling system, if not mistaken, that had to be scratch built because the original model doesn't carry it, which is this gray, silver gray thing. There are more here, over there, and there are some conversions here that I made. For instance, this is not true for the 5th DLC, but I couldn't resist not doing it, which is the original P19 with a 25mm Hotchkiss gun. Okay, but in fact the 5th DLC didn't use it. I just couldn't resist the idea of making it. But of course, just for the sake of authenticity, there is a version, of course, of the gun without being porté. Okay, the last conversion for these P19s is the conversion with the MMG. Okay, the Hotchkiss, which is here being held by a Caesar conversion. Okay, and the last one to carry some Hotchkiss again by EWM. Now for the 2nd battalion, the same in terms of the reconnaissance part. Okay, same for the command of the battalion, not much difference. But what is new is
these transports. I mean, I inflated the 2nd Battalion with them. I don't know if they were spread all over the regiment or if they were only concentrated on 2nd Battalion. I couldn't find any information about that. But what I know is that this is the GMC, ACK 753. I'm reading, of course, that's why it's slow. It's a hell of a name. And these guys are Chinese American trucks, which look very, very close to the GMC, to the GMCs that France bought from United States, and that arrived a little bit late. Then they were injected on this at least on this 5th DLC, 5e DLC, sorry, to use proper name, and this was the transport for at least one of the battalions, even if even maybe a little bit mixed with the other battalion. I couldn't find any information. I mean, some changes of these guys were the wheels, which have to be double on the back, okay, and also some extra replacement wheels also placed in the middle of the truck, and they became very, very close. Then painted with some different camouflages, they became nice. More on the models, you have EWM here, Caesar. You also have here some, for instance, some LesArméesOubliés, which are very nice figures. They're made in France, and they are some of the best renderings of World War II French soldiers in the market. For instance, you can see here a few more. They're extremely good. So look at the guy with the FM here, 29, just a marvelous figure, and many others. So and also some Hotchkiss of the same brand. Now let's go to the artillery, and we are getting close to the end. This is the fake anti-aircraft unit for the DLC. In fact, it should be 25mm guns. I still didn't make them. So these are 20mm Oerlikon that the French used, but not in the, let's try to focus, but not in the 5th DLC. But I'll use them for the moment as they are. But I'll make them in the future, the correct version. Also, the transport for the 25mm were not 4-wheeled Lafflys, they were 6-wheeled Lafflys. And soon I will order a few more. These ones are from MiniGeneral, and I'll order a few more with 6 wheels from Peter Pat from MiniGeneral, okay? But, I mean, they're a close thing. These are the anti-tank battery of the division with 47mm guns by, if I'm not mistaken, Lancer, with some plastic and irregular miniature artillerists, okay? And this was in fact 10th battery of the artillery regiment. Artillery regiment then is deployed here. You can see some 4 of these stands, which are 75mm guns, okay, and you see here also some these are Simon soldiers, artillerists, okay, they are all over the 4 guns, and I use this little bit big stand in order to have this thing, which I like a lot, which is of course the ammunition carrier of the 1080-79 model of the 75mm gun. Wow, it's a hell of a name also. This thing is tiring. And the carriers are the these are the what these are, let me check, sorry, let me check, these are the Unic, sorry, yeah, Unic BU version. This is the artillery version, okay, with cabinets for the ammunition, okay, painted in different styles. over there. For instance, of course, they're related, of course, to different units, but I find funny, I mean, using different sets of camouflage. And these are all made by my friend Mário Laranja in resin, printed in resin. Like this also, the Citroën, also made in resin, okay? Which also repeats itself along other batteries. Now, there are some Ford observers. I place them on horse. They look nicer. There are also conversions mixing PSC parts and AJT to have binoculars and things like that. You can see here, you see. So arms coming from PSC and horses and figures coming and main bodies coming from AJT. Now another lie of this division, which is these are the fake 105mm of this division. In fact, I still didn't make them. I'm using instead the Schneider version of the 105mm gun. They should be smaller, and they were the Canon Court of 105mm gun, which is a completely different gun, which had that very funny characteristic of closing the wheels in order to protect the crew. But I'll make them in the future. I have to make those 4 guns. I have to make still those these 25mm anti-aircraft guns, and I also have to make a pair of Hotchkiss guns, 25mm anti-tank guns with the Motorcyclist S crew. The last unit is this Pioneer, large company which had around 200 men, carried in another GMC, which are the supermineurs of the division. Finally, I mean, there is the command group of the division. I chose this small diorama I made some time ago. I imagine that General Chanoine is that guy with white hair, okay, showing already stressed age at least. There is some messenger here and a group of officers around a map with a part of France, which I don't know what it is, and the Renault ADH is a Wespe model from Romania, and there is another telephone guy here with this, which may be useful, and a messenger also on riding his bike. Okay, this is in fact a SHQ conversion in which you just need to take the sidecar out. Okay, that's all. Then a crazy thing. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't used, but I like it because I saw it on a GBM magazine, which is one of these very old wagons that were used in the 20s by the cavalry and also by the infantry. I think they were a little bit present. They're a World War I heritage, even with a flag and things like that. So it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it looks nice. And of course, then there is the thing that pulls this thing, which has a surprise for you all. Please don't go crazy, okay? And there is French used to hide some naked women on the canvas, painted on the canvas on the middle of the camouflage, okay? So I did the same with a little bit of perversion, as you can imagine, okay? But don't tell anyone about this part, of course. And so this is the division. There are still a few details to complete and to change, but mostly the division is made. I hope you have enjoyed, and see you next with another French, or I have other French units. I have a DLM, a DCR, and a Division Infanterie Mécanisée, Motorized, which is the DIM also, which can also double as a DI, a Division Infanterie. So I have still some 4 or 5 big units for the French army, but I'll show you that on the next video. Maybe for a change, next I will show you the Hermann Göring Luftwaffe Panzer Division for Sicily, okay, 1943. Maybe I'm thinking about placing that one. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed. Bye bye. Thank you. Cheers.